Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. And here we go, Week 12 in the National Football League regular season. And it is time to once again make our confidence picks for every game on the schedule this week. So for those who have not seen it before, we don't pick against the spread here. We pick winners. And then we got to assign a confidence rating from 13 points this week, the game we got the most confidence in, to 1 point, the game we got the least confidence in. And much like we've seen the last couple of weeks, there are a few games where it's pretty easy to figure out who the winner should be. And there are several games where if you played it 100 times, each team might win 50. So how's it going to turn out? Well, we'll find out. But first, let's take a look back at how we did during week number 11. We had a 10-4 record. 81 total points accumulated, same number of points as we had during week 10, so pretty consistent there. For the season, we have a record of 104 wins, 62 losses, 930 points. That puts us in the 86th percentile among all players. Each week, we just keep climbing a little bit and a little bit. We are up 2.2% from where we were last week. So, hey, let's keep climbing this thing up and let's get into the 90s, because the later it gets in the season, the harder it is to climb. But the goal is to get into the 90s as soon as we can. All right, let's get started with the number 13 game, the game I got the most confidence in. What team is that going to be? Well, it's the Super Bowl champion. It's the team coming off their first loss of the year. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're traveling to Charlotte to play the Carolina Panthers. Chiefs lost their first game of the year to the Bills. The Panthers are coming off a bye week. Now that the Chiefs have lost, their focus will be there that much more. One thing I like for Kansas City, the last 2 weeks, they've averaged 67.5 rushing yards per game. Isaiah Pacheco should be back, so look for Kansas City to get right with running the ball against the Carolina defense that allows 160.1 yards per game, last in the league. Kansas City doesn't really blow a lot of teams out. I think you see a double-digit victory for the champs. Let's go to number 12. It's an AFC South showdown. Well, that's AFC South, so how exciting could it be? The Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans. I don't expect Joe Mixon to run for 3 touchdowns like he did against Dallas. This is a game where C.J. Stroud is going to have a pretty impactful performance. Nico Collins back in action for Houston. What a difference he makes. 77-yard touchdown, only called back because of a penalty. And, I like the way the Houston defense played against Dallas. They had some fire. They looked decisive. They looked confident. And I don't think Will Levis and the Tennessee offense can handle it. It's the same Will Levis who's been sacked 27 times in 7 starts. Also, Tennessee has lost 4 of their last 5 games by double digits. Give me Houston at home. Number 11 is another interdivisional division match. The Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commandskins. Well, Washington played on a Thursday night. They've got extra rest. Meanwhile, the Cowboys played on the road and are coming off a Monday night shellacking against Houston. The Washington coach, Dan Quinn, was the Cowboys defensive coordinator from 2021 to 2023. I just see blowout city. Washington is feeling as good as it has in years. Dallas just looks like it's ready for the season to end. Number 10, the Detroit Lions at the Indianapolis Colts. Give me the Lions here. Detroit has won 8 in a row, and they have defeated 3 AFC South teams by a combined score of 130-49. Last week, I think Anthony Richardson, people called it his breakout game and all of that. Please, he was facing a Jets defense with no guts and no heart, period. The Lions ain't letting that happen. And Indianapolis, hey, they like to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. They couldn't run against the Jets. Their run defense stinks. Detroit is averaging just 48.5 rushing yards per game allowed the last 2 weeks. And against the Colts defense, which is to say the least mediocre, that Colts defense, they're allowing 140-plus yards per game on the ground. And Detroit has the best 1-2 running back punch in the NFL probably in Gibbs and Montgomery. They're averaging 152 yards on the ground per game. Give me Detroit. Number 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Tommy DeVito New York Giants. Well, Tampa Bay lost 4 games in a row, and now they just had their bye week. The Giants are bringing back DeVito to play quarterback. Maybe it sparks them like it did last season. Well, actually, it wasn't that much of a spark. DeVito actually only had a record of 3-3 and completed he did complete 64% of his passes, but he averaged 122 passing yards per game. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a fellow Italian from New Jersey. I could root for the guy, but his performance, the hype was more than the performance. I'm sorry. I think Tampa Bay has a little too much dignity to just fade away, count on a lot of blitzing from the Todd Bowles defense. Plus, on offense, Mike Evans is expected back to go against this woeful New York Giants secondary. So I'm taking Tampa Bay on the road. Now we go to my number 8 game. It is the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Give me Miami. They've won 2 in a row. 2 is playing pretty well. For the Patriots, you know what? They'll have moments against bad teams. Drake May could throw some touchdowns. We've been learning. He's also very turnover prone as well. And then the Dolphins, well, they've won the last 4 meetings at home in this series. And I don't think they're losing this one in Miami Gardens either. Number 7, a lot of divisional games here this week. This is pretty cool. The Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. I think this is a sneaky, exciting game. They both have a shot to win the division, which I don't think anybody would have expected at the beginning of the year. Seattle had a very good week on defense against San Francisco, one of their best of the season. Arizona just has a better quarterback right now. Here's one thing, though, in a game that I think is going to be very close, will make a difference. Arizona is the least penalized team in the NFL. Seattle has committed the 3rd most penalties in the league. I'm taking Arizona on the road. Number 6 is the Thursday night game, an AFC North game. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. I had to take some time and think about this one. Now, look, I know the Steelers are rolling. I know the Browns are terrible. But is it possible? Is it just a little possible the Steelers can have a letdown on the road on a short week after such a tough win against Baltimore? Pittsburgh has won only 1 game in their last 6 trips into Cleveland, and Thursday night is supposed to be cold, rainy, and windy right off Lake Erie. So now what are we looking at? We're looking at the running games. Who's going to run the ball better? Who's going to stop the run better? And whether you're looking at the running offense or the running defense, Pittsburgh is a much better team. Plus, if you get down to field goals, Chris Boswell has been pretty much automatic as of late. I do think Cleveland can pull off the upset if everything goes right. I just think it's a little bit too much. And right now, I can't go against Mike Tomlin. I can't do it. Give me the Steelers Thursday night. Number 5, the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. Minnesota is on the road for the 3rd straight week. The Bears just find ways to lose crazy games. They're not even that different than the Jets, really. Here's my question. The big question I have about this game. The Bears have changed their offense a little bit. It's now based off quick reads, getting the ball out fast, because Caleb Williams is very vulnerable to holding the ball too long and taking sacks. Can Caleb Williams handle the Brian Flores defense with all that talent, with all its blitz schemes? That Minnesota defense is 3rd in the league with 35 sacks. I'm just not confident. I went a little back and forth, but I'm going to take Minnesota. Number 4, Monday night. This is going to be a good one. The Harbaugh Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego, California. Well, right before Thanksgiving, the brothers face off. Good job by the NFL there. So Jesse Minter will play a big role in this game. That's the Chargers defensive coordinator who was an assistant with the Ravens from 2017 to 2020. And he has the task of trying to slow down Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But that Chargers defense has allowed just 14.5 points per game. That is the best in the NFL right now. On the other side, Justin Herbert's played very well at home. He averages 212 passing yards per game, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. So not getting a lot of yards, but playing smart football. Well, he sliced up the Bengals last week. Now he faces an even worse pass defense in Baltimore. That defense is allowing 284.5 passing yards per game, by far the worst in the league. I'm taking the Chargers at home. Number 3, the San Francisco 49ers at the Green Bay Packers. The Niners, my gosh, they are officially not the same, and they're not coming back. 1-3 in this division. Nick Bosa is hurt. His status is in doubt. Brock Purdy has barely been able to practice this week. He actually left practice early on Thursday. Green Bay, they got the confidence. They got the mojo going right now. They've beaten San Francisco 4 of the last 5 regular season meetings. Yeah, the Packers are 7-3, but you know who those 3 losses are to? Some big boys: Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Detroit. Now, here's my issue with Green Bay. They played 3 games since week 8. In 2 of those games, they gave up 390 yards of offense or more. And the 2 teams that put up those yards, the Jaguars and the Bears. And now you're facing San Francisco. But Trent Williams, Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa are all beat up. They're all questionable to play as of this recording. I'm taking Green Bay because I don't think San Francisco has shown enough that they are able to handle adversity. So I'm taking the Packers in Lambeau Field. Number 2, the Sunday night game. The Philadelphia Eagles at the LA Rams. That's a good one. Eagles are raging hot. Rams are getting better and better, and they are the desperate team. You just don't know with the Rams what you're getting week in, week out. In week 8, they put up 30 points on the Vikings. Week 10, they didn't even show up against the Dolphins. They scored 15 points. Well, Matt Stafford's coming off a 4-touchdown performance, and since he was traded to the Rams in 2021, if you look at just week 12 on, Stafford has gone 11-2, and that record actually jumps to 15-3 if you include the playoffs. But I'm very interested to see if the Eagles' rookie cornerbacks in Mitchell and DeJean can handle the Rams' wide receivers of Kupp and Nakua. I'm going to go with the Rams to end the Philadelphia winning streak. And finally, the number 1 game. I'm just feeling this week we're going to have a crazy upset somewhere. You know, we've had a lot of chalk for the most part over the last couple of weeks. I'm just seeing an upset. I think this is the game. The Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. Look, Denver dominated the first game 34-18. The Raiders have lost 6 straight. Denver is riding high, but it is a division game on the road. I question if Denver is mature enough to handle a game they should easily win. And let's be real. Denver's won 6 games, but 4 of them are against the NFC South. One lucky one against the Jets, the other one against the Raiders. Let's just see what happens. I just wonder if Denver plays kind of like a game where they don't come out completely focused, and then the Raiders get a little bit of momentum, and then they ride it all the way to a victory. So had to go with one crazy one this week. I'm going with the Raiders. All right, those are my picks for Week 12 in the NFL. If you want to make some picks, put them right down there in the comments. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.